And finally tonight, the return of a popular mystery series. When last seen, Ezekiel Easy Rollins was driving over a cliff, apparently to his death. Rollins is the fictional private eye who in the course of a dozen books has become one of the best-known, longest-running characters in American literature. His latest adventure is told in the new novel, Little Green. Author Walter Mosley has written more than 40 books in many genres and received numerous honors. He joined us here earlier this week. Walter Mosley, welcome.
It's good to be here.
The return of a dead man, right?
Yes.
You seem to kill off your famous hero and then brought him back to life. Why?
Well, it was first-person narrative. He wasn't dead. He went off the cliff and everything went black. I didn't say I died. I just said he went off the cliff. I stopped writing the books because I felt I was getting stale writing the character, and I wanted to stop. And then, 4 or 5 years went by, and I went, wow, I could come back to that and do that again. And so I started over again. I did intend to end the series, but here we are.
I mean, I see comparisons to Sherlock, Arthur Conan Doyle kills off Sherlock Holmes and brings him back again. It's hard to kill off a character like this.
Yeah, it is difficult. People want you to write it, and I'm not really sure why Doyle came. I mean, I know he came back and he wrote it again. I don't know if it was because he didn't have money or the people were just bothering him too much. I really want to write about Easy, so.
For those who don't know the Easy Rollins books, they're set in a very particular place, Los Angeles, and particularly in the Watts area, in a time post-World War II, from the 40s and now this one up to the 60s.
1968.
Is all of that by accident, or did you just find a character and you wanted to stick with him, or did you want to explore a time and place?
Well, it was a couple of things. Definitely, I mean, that's where I'm from. I'm born in '52 in Los Angeles. My family came in 1945, 46, mother and father, from different places. And, in order to put people inside the culture, you have to be inside the literature. And the black population of Los Angeles just didn't have a literature, really, not much of one anyway. And so I decided I'd write these books so I could write about Los Angeles, I could write about post-war Los Angeles, I could write about black Los Angeles, I could do all of those things together.
You had that in mind,
yeah.
Just that there was a vacuum of particularly black literature.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, because one of the running jokes in the book, well, although it's a serious line, is often when somebody meets Easy Rollins for the first time and they find out what he does, and they say, I never met a black private eye before, and he says, we're a rare breed.
Exactly.
Which he is.
Yeah, he's a new character for this world. And he's somebody who goes into places where other people can't go, being a black man, because nobody thinks that there's a black detective. So he says, they don't see me coming, they don't know when I'm there, and they don't know I've left. And that's the way that's the way his life is, and it makes him an almost perfect detective.
And that allows you to look at various strains of American culture, right?
Yeah,
I mean, in this case, the 60s, post-Watts riots is the setting.
And the beginning of the hippie movement,
yeah,
which is a whole other surprising event in California at this time. I mean, if you're in California in 1964, it's one Los Angeles, and if you're in 1968, there's all these hippies everywhere. It's where'd they come from? How'd they have time to grow that hair? It was pretty amazing, and I'm really enjoying it because so many stories have been told about L.A. But these stories, almost everyone is a new story because of the point of view, not because it's some secret that's being held.
Because of the new time as well.
Yeah, and everybody's experiencing a different kind of world, and it's changing so quickly.
You, as I said, you write in many styles and genres, and the Easy Rollins books are often, they're usually defined as crime, crime fiction, mysteries. Do you think of them that way, or do you even think about different genres as you're working?
Well, I think about genre somewhat. I mean, because once I'm in the genre, I like to be true to it. I don't want to be one of those writers who says, "Well, I'm not really a mystery writer." Well, when I write a mystery, it's a mystery. When I write a literary novel, it's a literary novel. Science fiction.
And what is being true to a mystery genre?
I mean that there's a crime that's been committed that exists, on a legal level, on a social level, and on a moral level. And if you're really, really good at it, on a philosophical level. And there has to be an answer. Not necessarily a solution, but an answer to that crime. Like, well, who did it? Why did they do it? Should you turn them in? You know, a whole series of questions, and that's what mysteries do.
But if you're really good at it, you're saying a level that's beyond the whodunit.
Well, if you're really good at it, it makes you think about the nature of the society. I mean, I think that at the end of this book, Easy has to make a few choices, and hopefully it will make you think about the choices he has to make and why. And that goes a little bit beyond the mystery, but it stays right inside the crime, you know. So.
And presumably a good mystery has to be a good, I mean, the qualities of a novel are the qualities of a novel.
Yeah, good writing is good writing. I mean, and bad writing is bad writing. So, like, you know, people say, well, you know, you'll say, well, this genre is better writing than this genre. So, well, how can that possibly be? They both have sentences and words, and they're both in English. I mean, how can one be better than the other? You know, but, you know, there are a lot of people who do think like that. My genre, when I'm writing crime fiction, is one thing, but like science fiction, people completely, you know, eschew. And romance, you know, oh my God, that's terrible writing. You know, but it's not necessarily. If you're a good writer, you write a good book.
You know, I've talked to biographers who've stayed with one subject for decades. You have done that as well. Is it still fulfilling? Is it still fun?
Well, you know, it's an interesting thing. The topic that I stay with the most is black male heroes. And I think
in all these different genres.
Yeah, and because I'm one of the few people really ever in the history of literature in the West who writes about black male heroes. There are a lot of protagonists, but I'm talking about heroes. I think it's really important because, you know, every culture has their heroes. It's just that black men, you know, people are kind of afraid of them for various reasons, various guilts, various, I don't know, issues. And so I like to write about them, and I don't think that that's running out of fashion yet.
So will there be more?
Oh, yeah, I've actually finished the next Easy Rollins novel.
Oh, really?
My editor, just today, as I was coming here, sent me an email saying he has accepted the new novel. So.
Okay, more Easy Rollins. This one is Little Green, Walter Mosley. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
My conversation with Walter Mosley continues online, where we ask some of your questions sent in ahead of time. And you can also see him read from his new novel. That's all on our Artbeat page.